Beautiful people, welcome once again to Runako Universe. As always, I am Runako coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. And to all three of you who are going to watch this podcast for maybe 30 seconds, I just want to say I appreciate you anyway. How much ever time you spend here, I appreciate you. You know, if you're coming to me from Japan, if you are from my home country of Trinidad and Tobago, if you saw me doing stand-up and got a link on my Insta that brought you to this, or if most likely you were watching another podcast that suddenly finished and YouTube sent you over here, you're still welcome. I still want you. I still want your like, please. I still want you to subscribe to the page. And listen, the first rule of Runako Universe you need to know is that I know everything and you know nothing. Rule number 2, this is a comedy podcast, so everything is jokes unless something I say somehow makes you real rich, in which case I was always serious and you owe me 60% of all our money. That feels like a fair trade. But either way, serious, joke, know everything, don't know nothing. Stick around. We're going to be talking social media. We're going to be talking current events. We'll be talking media in general. I'll answer a question from a listener and you learn a bit, you laugh a bit. In the meantime, as I said, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and let's get into today's topics because this is episode 16 of Runako Universe. So if you're new here on this podcast, we eat our salad before our meat. So we start with the thing that we usually don't want to talk about, which is news, in a segment called News and Shit. In this week's News and Shit, the Pope is dead. The Pope died earlier this week, and he was really widely liked or hated, depending on... He was quite divisive, I think, quite polarizing, this Pope. Progressives liked him because he was like pro Gaza and he was pro immigrant. He was a good guy. Overall, he had a lot of liberal leanings, which I kind of support as well. So I thought he was a good guy. But also another awesome thing about him was he didn't like people touching him. And I thought that was great. As somebody whose job it is to lay hands on people, you not wanting people to touch you is a real interesting character choice. And I believe he was in his right to not want people to touch him. What's going on right now, though, is he's gone. He and all of his whatever touching issues he has is gone. And can I just say how refreshing it is to have a man in the Catholic Church who isn't excited about touching? But now there is the very small potential that there's gonna be a black pope, because there are two, I think, black cardinals in the running to become the next pope. And I'm very excited about this. Why? Here's some history. Pope Francis, the pope that just passed, was in a big scandal because he used a not so friendly term in Italian to refer to gay people. He used the Italian version of the F word for gay people. So I'm saying we already had one of those and everybody liked him. I think it's time for us to get a pope who can say nigger. I think that's where we are right now. And I can't explain to you why it's going to make everything better and why it's going to improve the world. But I just think we need a pope who can, like, you know, lay hands and say, you know, the devil is not my nigger, etc. I don't know how he would work it into the scripture, but I imagine if he was given the pass to say it freely, which he would if he was a black pope, he would. But I doubt we're going to get a black pope, speaking honestly, as much as I'd like to see it. We might just get another boring one, or we might get an exciting pope. I feel like we're in exciting times. Here's what I ideally want to see. If not a black pope, I want to see a guy who's like a mover and shaker. I want to see somebody run up into the castle in England and just like beat King Charles up, make him come back to the Catholic Church. You know, pull the Protestants back by force from the king, from the head of state. Like get into some fisticuffs with Charles. See what Camilla about. See if she can throw bows. I think that's a nice, interesting direction for the church to take. It's time to wake it up. I feel like religion is dying, and not that I'm interested in joining it, but dummies definitely do need religion. So let's start to stir the church back up, and let's get interested. Let's either get an N-word pope or a scrapper pope. Or maybe we can do the Futurama thing. It's Space Pope. The Space Pope is an alligator. But if we're being real, we're more likely to get an alligator space pope than we are to get a black pope. That's just how life runs sometimes. And that's all the news I have for you today. Rest in peace to the Pope, or however he wants to rest. I don't know what he wants for himself. He probably has a better connection to the afterlife than me, if any of that heaven stuff is real. Moving right along. The next segment is called Gram Talk. And Gram Talk is where we talk about social media in general. You know, of late, I've been using Threads a lot more. Threads is Instagram's answer to Twitter. And the only problem with Threads is that its algorithm is super thirsty. It's super thirsty. If it hears you mention something once, or if you even look at a thread for too long, your whole feed is going to become that one topic. And because the Ryan Coogler's movie Sinners has recently come out, and I am interested in it. It's not in Japan yet. I've been getting so much like threads on threads on threads, post on post on post about Sinners, and people going as far as posting clips from. Why would you do that? You know who we need to send to space? Not Katy Perry and Gayle King. We need to send people who will find a clip of a movie that everyone obviously hasn't seen yet and put it on social media. I think we need to send them up in a rocket, and it needs to be a one-way trip. And who else can be on that rocket? Religious people who are going to see this movie and then complaining about the content. So religious people are going to see a movie called Sinners, and the complaint is that the movie is too demonic. What are you doing with your life and time? Why are you like? What was your expectation? You hear a movie called Sinners that's about vampires. Did you think it was a priest that was going to reform the vampires? Do you think the vampires were going to all come back to God? They in there fucking and sucking, friend. We know how vampires get. Vampires do two things: they fuck and they suck, and that's just lore. That's just lore. It doesn't matter whether it's Twilight, whether it's Anne Rice, whether it's Dracula, whether it's Bram Stoker's Dracula or Blackula. Whoever your vampire is, Dawn, I can't remember. What's the one where at the end, there's the sun comes up, but there's this big hole in the ground. Dead by Daylight? Dawn. I'm going to search this and I'm going to put it right here. Right here, I'll put the name of that vampire movie, but you know which one I'm talking about. Either way, regardless, Blade as well. All them vampires be doing sometimes a little bit of business. In Blade, they were doing business, but generally just fucking and sucking. That's their job. So if you go into a vampire movie to then complain that it's too demonic, what were you going for? What were you going into a movie called Sinners? You wanted to see fucking and sucking, and maybe the movie has more fucking and sucking than you expected, but you got what you paid for. Ryan Coogler got his money from your ticket, but I don't want to hear your complaints online because you got exactly what you went into that movie for. And fucking and sucking brings us perfectly into our Media Corner topic. So let's move quickly on to Media Corner for today. Media Corner for today is going to be the first time that I actually have not consumed the piece of media that I'm going to talk about. Kanye West made a song about giving his cousin head. And if this was anyone else, this would be a headline, or this would be a surprising thing. But it's Kanye West, who has been on a real crusade, I think is the best word, to get attention by any means necessary. What Kanye West is doing right now to the entire world is the equivalent of a toddler walking around going, mommy watch me, and then when no one looks at him, he starts throwing things down on the floor. Kanye is so jealous. And it's the second time I've spoken about Kanye on this podcast, and it's mostly because like I still feel a lot of attachment to him as one of the defining artists of my adolescence, but he is so thirsty for attention. I have never seen a person who wants attention more than Kanye West. Like, and it's not just that he wants attention, but that he's jealous of other people getting attention. So anyone getting attention for doing anything, he is coming in trying to do the same thing. Elon Musk did that Nazi salute and got a bunch of attention. Here he comes, oh, I'm a black Nazi. P. Diddy is getting a lot of attention. Here he comes, I'm P. Diddy's best friend and I am also sexually harassing people. The whole I gave my cousin head thing, I don't want to say 100. I am 89% certain that Kanye West saw the discussion about the White Lotus thing with the brothers jerking each other off or whatever. Also, I did not watch that. It's just too much. Let's stop touching. Let me pause. Come in closer. Let's stop touching our family members sexually. Just in media in general, let's stop incest porn. Let's stop doing it in real life. Let's just be. What about a family dinner? What about a game of Scrabble? Why everybody gotta be jerking off their brother and giving their cousin head? What are we doing as a planet right now? Why are we fucking our family like this? Let's stop that. All right, let's stop that. Let's stop that. It's nasty. Stop doing it. Cool. All right. I don't even know how to wrap up this media corner segment. I think the lesson that Kanye is learning, and he refuses to learn, is this: there is no ceiling on people tuning into you when you're doing something good or impressive or talented, especially when you keep upping the ante on yourself. If it's something impressive, talented, with talent, or it's good, or it's truly entertaining, people will keep tuning in. There's a very much a ceiling on doing things for shock value. There is a point that you will hit where people will just be like, oh, this is his antics, nothing is going to surprise me, I'm not interested. And I think Kanye has long hit that point, so that nothing he's going to do is really going to make me tune in. At this point, the only reason I'm talking about it is just point out just how sad it is and how easy it is to make the connection. Every new stunt that he does is somehow connected to something else that's happening in the pop culture zeitgeist, and he wants to get a piece of that entertainment. It's not even unique anymore. And that's the saddest part, that when it came to Kanye, or Ye, or whatever he wants to be called now, when it came to Kanye, the thing you could always depend on is that he would be original. And that's no longer the case. And that's our media corner for today. As usual, I like to say one thing about Runako Universe is we go fast. I'm a little bit premature in bed. I'm premature on the pod. I'm in and I'm out. I'm in and I'm out. Our final segment for today, as always, is Ask Runako, where I have a listener send in a question about anything. It could be about Japan. It could be about general life. It could be about anything. I know everything and you know nothing. So, of course, you've got to ask me. If you want to ask a question, you can send it to runakouniverse@gmail.com. Or you can send me a DM on Runako Universe at Instagram and Threads as well. Okay, today's question actually wasn't sent in by a listener. So as you know, I also produce a few comedy shows. I do stand-up myself, and a show that I recently started producing. It's called Bad Senpai. And on the show, we allow the guests to ask questions to the comedians about Japan, because very often a lot of them are tourists. And this is an interesting question that I got, and I wanted to answer it on the pod here. So the question comes from Sarah, and the question is, why are Japanese people so quiet on the train? And I could say here what I wanted to say in the room, which is like, what else do you want them to be? Why does there need to be noise on the train? Maybe it's just because my entire train experience has been in Japan, because when I was in my country, there were no trains and I never ran a train on anybody. So my whole train experience has been in Japan. And I'm just saying, why do we need noise on? Just shut the fuck up and look at your phone. Get on the train, look at your phone, pretend the person next to you isn't smelling, get off the train. And that should be all train travel, I think. We don't need anything extra. Just shut up and look at your phone. Like, I saw this video going around of this idiot who was traveling in Japan who brought a speaker onto the train and was playing music and dancing, and people in the comments were like, don't do that in Japan. In Japan, that's so rude. And I'm just like, don't do that anywhere. Nobody wants it. It's not fun for anyone. No one can be possibly enjoying this. Like, we don't need the noise. The train ride can be peaceful. And honestly, if you do want to see noise on the train in Japan, I've got to tell you, it does exist. You just got to take the last train. And most likely the noise you're going to hear is the person throwing up next to you, or a drunk person who's fully in an argument on the phone. So you can get, it gets a little bit wild, but just generally it's nice. It's peaceful. We don't really need the excess. We don't need the excess. And here's one thing I'll say before I sign off. People are going out of the way to talk about like tourists coming and making noise in the trains, and everyone's trying to correct their behavior. I suggest you stop. Not stop doing it. Stop trying to correct their behavior. If it's one thing about this country that I currently call home, when they decide to flip the switch, they're going to flip the switch. So y'all go ahead, do what you want, do a full split on the train, do pull-ups, play music, film a porn, whatever you want to do. But when them people decide that they're going to start throwing you all in holes, in dark holes, and locking you away, they don't care nothing about human rights in this country, I just let you know, they don't care nothing about no international rights, they don't care nothing about no human rights. Them they just behave how they decide they want to behave. So when things switch on all your ass, I hope you could take whatever you buy. And you can tell that I'm serious because my accent just switched as well. But yeah, there doesn't need to be a discussion about why it's quiet on the train. It should be quiet on the train. I don't need to hear your conversation, the game you're playing. I don't need to hear the music you're listening to. None of that is interesting. None of that is necessary. Get on the train, mind your business, shut up, get off the train. And that's how train transport should be. Now, if you're talking about running trains, that's going to be a whole other episode. But for now, that's all for episode 16 of Runako Universe. As always, I know everything, you know nothing. Be sure to follow me on Instagram so you can get my stand-up dates if you're in Tokyo, and like the episode, subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you around for another time. That's been all. You guys take care of yourself, and we're out. Peace.